We've assigned material ID numbers to the polygons in the wall of our lab. Now we're going to create a multi-subobject material that we will use to apply to that wall. So the top of the wall has a different material than the bottom of the wall. We are currently working in the file Chapter 4 Interior MSO2.max. If you don't have the file open, navigate to the Chapter 4 Datasets directory and open the file. We're going to open the Compact Material Editor by clicking on the Material Editor icon in the main toolbar, holding down the left mouse button and selecting the Compact Material Editor from the flyout, which is the top icon. What we're going to do here is we're going to use our existing concrete material. We're going to change that material type into a multi-subobject material and retain our existing concrete material. Then we'll copy it and make a new blue-colored concrete material. This will allow us to satisfy our customers' needs of having a blue painted concrete on the top of wall 02 in the lab. In the material editor, navigate over to the concrete material. It should be the second one from the left in the top row. This material is an arch and design material. We're going to do something called changing the material type. We're going to change this from an arch and design material to a multi-subobject material. Go ahead and click on the Arch and Design button. In the Material Map browser, double-click on the multi-subobject material. When you double-click the material, or you can select it and then click OK at the bottom left of the material browser, you will be presented with a dialog asking you whether you want to discard the old material or keep the old material as a submaterial. Since we want the wall to be a part of this material, we want to make sure that we have the Keep Old Submaterial option selected. Click OK. The material is now replaced with a multi-subobject material, and we now have our original concrete arch and design material in the material ID number 1 slot. We also have 9 other material IDs that are available to us by default. We really only need a total of 2 materials for this wall. In order to simplify things, let's go ahead and set the number of materials to 2. Remember that we can have up to 1,000 submaterials. We don't need them right now, so we're not going to use them. Click on the Set Number button. Enter 2 in the value type in, and click OK. Now we have 2 materials, a concrete material, and then just a standard default gray material. We're going to drag the arch and design material called concrete down onto the material ID number 2 slot and copy it. Click with your left mouse button, drag the concrete material on top of the material ID number 2 material slot, release the mouse button to drop the material. In the Instance Copy Material dialog, we want this to be a copy. Select the Copy option, and then click OK. Now we have a multi-subobject material with 2 materials that are exactly the same. Let's drag and drop from the material slot to place this new material onto wall 02. Go ahead and drag and drop the material to wall 02, and it will assign it to the wall. Nothing has really happened yet. But notice in the material subobject basic parameters rollout of the material editor, the gray concrete is material ID number 1, and we have a copy of it in material ID number 2. In order to change it to blue, we need to edit the second material. Let's use the Material Map Navigator to help us with this. Go ahead and click on the Material Map Navigator icon in the material editor. This opens the Material Map Navigator. Click on the diffuse color map for the concrete material in ID number 2. So let's click the diffuse color map. In the material editor, click on the Color 1 color swatch. In the color selector, change the color to a blue color. I'm going to make this a fairly noticeable blue. I'll leave it up to you to change the color to whatever color of blue you want. After long discussions, you discover this is exactly what your client wants. So, of course, you're going to give them what they're asking for. Change the color number 1 to blue, click OK in the color selection dialog, close the Material Map Navigator, and we can close the material editor as well. Make sure you right-click in the perspective viewport. With the perspective viewport active, go to the main toolbar and click the Render button. Now you can clearly see that we have 2 separate materials on the wall 02 object in our lab scene. You'll also notice that the noise pattern is the same. All we've done is change the color in the color number 1 parameter of the noise map that we modified to become our concrete. We've created a multi-subobject material with 2 materials. Any polygon with material ID number 1 gets the gray concrete, and any polygon with material ID number 2 gets the blue concrete. This is a very simple process that provides a very flexible workflow. Press Ctrl+S to save your file.